Everyone has a story. Welcome to In Her Words, a podcast from women in entertainment where female creatives and allies share their stories in their own words.
This is a dedicated space centered on how to harness creativity for inspiring and impactful projects in the ever-changing landscape of entertainment.
I'm Renee Rossi.
I'm Gretchen McCourt.
And this is In Her Words. Today, we're speaking with Noma Dumezweni. Noma most recently stars in Murderbot, which is coming up for its series finale. We're so excited to talk about her pathway and her journey from Broadway all the way to the big screen. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Thank you so much for joining us. You are so busy. You have everything going on. We love it. We're excited for the finale of Murderbot, which we're going to talk about. But I want to hear about, one of my questions was about live theater. So since you mentioned it, I want to talk about hear about just how you got started and you're doing everything, theater, television, movies. What's your favorite? What do you love?
All of it.
All of it. We want to hear all of it.
I tell you why I say that. Thank you for that question, and lovely to be speaking with you both. Thank you. What am I doing? Theatre. What is it all about? How did I start? I'm a theatre kid at heart. Okay. I'm an absolute theatre kid at heart, and my saving grace growing up, now I'm in mid-50s, was a youth theatre in a little place called Ipswich, and from the age of 13 through till 16, every Sunday during the spring summer, I would go to this place where I met my theatre tribe. It's the only way I can call it, the theatre tribe. And I was like, oh, I understand these people. They understand me. And then you go, am I going to do theatre? I don't know. But it was a great, what's the word? School wasn't great for me. So I didn't love school. I didn't love academia. I wasn't that. I wasn't deemed as that. So there was no push as that. But this little place, which was a 12-hour drive by a bus, I'd take the local bus on Sundays to get there, was like joy. And we put on plays and all that stuff. But I didn't think I was going to be an actor. And then I did become an actor. I'm doing jump cuts, because I met my lovely mentor, Tony, who's now 88. We've known each other he's going to be 88. We've known each other for 30 years. I met him when I was 25. Oh my God, it's just over. It was actually our 30th anniversary last year. That's what I said to him. It's our 30th anniversary. Who said, you don't have to go to drama school, because I did audition for drama school twice in my life. And 2 years running, didn't get through. Met Tony, and I've just basically been doing, he said it's going to take longer. I remember him saying it's going to take longer for you, but I think you can do it, meaning the route is not going to be easy. And you kind of, well, it's not been easy, so this is what I know, let's just keep going. So theatre. I'm doing huge jump cuts, and then I get to do this amazing play called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and I do it in the West End, and I do it on Broadway. But what's extraordinary about that, Renee and Gretchen, is the fact that the idea of doing a play for a year is my idea of hell. It's like, why would anyone want to do a 9 to 5? Why would anyone turn into because it's about the arts. You're going to meet so many. This is the story I had in my head. It's almost like in a really unhealthy way, a really intense relationship. You get to have intense relationships with people for 3-4 months, and then great, you're giving your creativity. All right, bye. Who's new? Who's next? Who's that?
Okay.
It's not kind of settling in the world, and it was making that decision was one of the longest I'd made. Going, okay, I've got this. Love the workshops that I did, but to do a play for a year is basically 15 months each.
And was that required with Harry Potter, that you had to commit for a full year?
Yeah, because we were the first. Wow. Yeah, we were the first company.
Okay.
So that first 3 months was rehearsals and tech, and then playing for a year. And thank God I said yes. Thank God I said yes, because it brings me to America, to Broadway with it, and just the excitement of all that, and Tony season being nominated for that. I'm like, Jamie and Anthony and me in the company were like, what the fuck? What can I swear, by the way? Can I swear?
You can swear all you want.
I do it sometimes very unconsciously, and people go, okay, Noma. Yeah. And that was a lovely adventure. And then I started getting TV and film work. So let's put it this way. If I say 2016, the show started in Britain, in England. And 2017 was the first time I got my first 6-part arc of a storyline. by this amazing writer, director, actor called Hugo Blick, and a beautiful thing called Black Earth Rising with Michaela Cole. And then, so that was that 2017 was the window. It's the bridge time between Broadway, between London and Broadway. And then I arrive in Broadway, and why I ended up staying in New York. My kid is dyslexic. There's an extraordinary program in New York for kids with learning differences. And she was like a duck to water to it. And she asked if she could stay. We're only going to be here for the length of the show and then go back. And she asked if she could stay and finish the school. And there was nothing in our way, no obstacles in our way. And literally now, 7 years later, she's just graduated from her high school. She's going to be going to Pace. And those are the things that make me happy, because I always go, my quiver gave me the luck to enjoy this career. And then comes a lovely TV thing called The Undoing with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant and Donald Sutherland, The Great Late. And that just opens up another world for me, which was extraordinary. Yeah. And then Jump Cut, The Watcher with Naomi Watts and Bobby.
Yes.
Oh, Cannavale, love him, love them all. I'm very, very blessed. All these people I've watched as that theatre actor who never thought should do TV and film, and then gets to do Little Mermaid, plays the Queen Mother, gets to do Mary Poppins Returns. So the casting directors in America have been very kind to me. I'm very, very grateful. And then we're here, and then I'm doing this lovely little show called Duke and Roya at the Lucille Hotel. But I'm hitting an American experience because it's the first American experience I've had, and because it's all based on profits. I'm sounding naive. I don't mean to sound naive. My problem is I'm used to subsidized theatre, or as much subsidized. That's what Britain is. So even if things are quiet, you've got an end thing. But in this moment, we opened last week, but we might close a lot sooner than we expected. This is the conversation we're having at the moment. So there's a kind of rally around to see how it goes. But apart from that, the experience of being in a rehearsal room, wherever you are in the world, with people that you love working with people you love creating with, that I will always need in my life. And I'm saying that, and I'm juxtaposing that absolutely with TV and film, because TV and film is like, you may meet someone for 5 minutes before you do a scene with them and you're supposed to be in love with them. But fuck me, I have no idea. But that's why I love a rehearsal room, to unpack, to get granular with story. What are we saying here? Why are we having to say it? I mean, that's not every rehearsal room, but that's the kind of work that I love. So yes, and I hope I have brought you down to, up to 2025, and here we are, July the 11th, and the upcoming last finale of Murderbot. I was so, so happy to do that.
What?
When I got that gig,
Really?
I could not believe I got that gig.
That's awesome.
It was amazing, and to be number 2 on a call sheet. I know it sounds weird, but I now understand it in this world of TV and film, because there's a sense of, you're part of the leadership crew. Yeah, very happy.
And the audiences, the audiences love Murderbot. Oh,
thank you.
People
find it odd. I found it odd when I first watched it. I'm like, what's this? That they chose that shot. Oh my god, I don't remember that. But then my thing is, because my angst comes into what I do, but then I watch every other fucker on that show and fucking look at what David Desmartin is doing. Look what Tamara Podemsky is doing. Look what Alexandra is doing. And that boy, man, nerd, beautiful nerd, I call him. And you kind of had it in succession, that comedy weirdness about him. And he's so lanky, and he really trusts his body, I think, in Succession. And then in this, the tightness of that outfit, and the tightness of this construct, this beautiful security unit, sec unit, i.e. Murderbot. I just think the work is gorgeous. So I have to trust the work is good. So great.
No, it is.
Fantastic.
People love it. People love the show. Noma, when you said, so as a theater nerd, as a young theater, did you not want to do television and film, or did you think that you never could cross over? Yeah, what was the?
It was never going to be. So as a young kid, I didn't even know that I wanted to do acting, but I loved that experience of being in the room. And then trying to audition for drama school put me off because I didn't get through. Worked in a normal company. but then got into theatre with Tony, mentored. I mean, doing some amazing things. The apex, I remember at the age of 30, finally joining the Royal Shakespeare Company and being so, finally I've got here, because the last 5 years was spent, the previous 5 years was spent doing theatre and education. And these are not any digs at all. These are amazing things. Theatre and education, pub theatres, fringe theatre, going up to Edinburgh twice, doing shows, you know, waking up at 8 a.m. in the morning, selling, handing out the flyers that someone may come to the show at 11:30, as a troupe. That all the things that I needed to do on the job. And then I realized there's a point I went, oh, it's not going to be for me. I don't see, there's no window or there's no door opening up for me in TV and film, and even with lovely agents and casting directors kind of supporting you gently. I just never seemed to get into that groove, and I always used to think I was the people from drama school who are gonna get that access, because I didn't have that access. It's so interesting, the stories we tell ourselves, isn't it? It's so interesting, because I think that's what I'm trying. My daughter now being 18, I'm trying to unpack her of the stories that she's starting to tell herself about who she is, or I seemingly think that she's starting to tell herself, because it's so insidious. Um, Oh, there's a hand effects using gestures thing. What's come up here? Excuse me. It's so is it insidious? It's so subtle. What the basically the negative stories we can tell ourselves as opposed to the positive stories, and just by saying, "Oh no, that I look, I'm a black woman from this part of England, and I come into London. I'm not, and I'm with respect to these beautiful actors." And there was a moment in time, because it was the light-skinned mixed race actresses who were getting the work. I'm not Sophia Okonedo. I'm not Thandua Newton. And if I'm going to do theatre, there's Tanya Moody, who's like doyen of theatre because she's worked with Peter Brooks. There are all these standards. One puts, well, pedestals, one's, and if I could tell any child now, just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Read that, because you could be. The moments I worry that I wasted so much time. But anyway, the point is, there is also the right timing. I am now trusting divine timing. And that used to be a story in my head. And sometimes if I'm not what I call as in flow, I'm going, what am I doing? That means I need to pivot. And that means now my body's going, no, you've got to think a different story. Stop telling yourself that story. So that sense of not being able to do TV felt so very far away. And then the thing that kind of unlocked it, and I did a scene as a nurse once, and I did a scene as a receptionist, 3, 4 in the whatever 15, 20 years before that. And then this one play changed everything, because it was based on this extraordinary IP. J.K. Rowling wrote these amazing books, and they changed people's lives, and the films did that. And then there's a play version, and my gratitude will always be to John Tiffany, Sonia Friedman, Colin Callender, and J.K. and Neil, for that moment in time to be able to play grown-up Hermione. And then that's why I try to say to my kid and her friends, when you look back at your lives, the things you think are not working, that choices do make everything. Yeah. So here I am. And then that opened up the TV in my...
It's that wisdom of age.
Thank God.
Right?
Wisdom of age.
You can't explain it.
You can't teach it. As much as you wanted to like shake them and tell them, don't worry about this, don't worry about this, have a different perspective, they don't get it. They have to live through it. But our parents are the same to us. So it's, different experiences.
No generation's going to listen.
It's like a soul journey. It's a thing I'm really trying to sit into now as a human being, going, I really do believe, I'm not a religious person at all, but it makes sense that magic happens in the world that is unexplainable, and those connections kind of eerie. Why do I think of somebody and then they ring me? Those energetic connections. So that sense that we're here to tell story of our lives, and that's exactly going back to what you say, Aaron, is it's hard to tell anybody. It's an experiential. This life thing is an experiential thing, and you cannot speak to it until you experience it. You can have ideas about it, but you can't heal other people until you go, I know, this is my version of what you went through. Yeah.
And I think the advice that you're giving is so, 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 so important, of taking down those preconceived notions. And that is something that also, that how do you teach young people, especially in an industry where you hear no a lot more than you
Yeah.
hear yes?
Yes.
That that you can't say, oh, I know this isn't going to happen to me because of one, two, three, and four, or I know it is going to happen to me because of one, two,
Yeah.
three, and four. That it's different for
They're
everyone.
all ideas,
Yeah.
and you're an idea. That's what I've understood now. They're all ideas, and they're perceived
Yeah.
ideas, and they're
Hmm.
not reality. I don't know what I'm going to wear tomorrow. So how can I tell myself that I can't do that thing because this, and this? It's so simple. Now I understand it, but you're right, because
Yeah.
it is
Hmm.
hard, especially in this industry. How do you tell? Gosh, I don't know. How do you tell people to just trust themselves? Because we don't, and maybe that's part of the deal about being human. Maybe that's what it is, that we have to trip and fall and
Hmm.
dust ourselves off and start all over again. But some people can get lower than others, and also, I really do believe that thing, which you all know, the people around you also influence how you're going to
Oh,
see the
sure.
world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think that's why I also try to say to kid, be conscious of who expands your energy when you're in their presence, and be conscious of who drains you when they're in presence, because the universe is telling you, let go of
Hmm.
that or
Yeah.
follow that. And
Hmm.
again, like we say, this is all in hindsight. I can now talk to it.
Hindsight 2020.
Always, always.
Always. Yeah. But we
No,
can see it. We can
no,
see it.
no. And you mentioned Tony as your mentor. Did you grow up in a creative family? Did you have other people around you, even younger than when you wanted to, go to drama school, that you saw writing or, being creative,
Well,
artistic?
yeah, no, well, it's an odd, we're an odd family. We're an odd family. I mean, and I suppose every family is an odd family. But my mum left my dad when I was 7 years old, and my sister was 5 years old. And unbeknownst to us, she flew as well. We knew we were flying, but we arrived in England. So I always go, we were in, at that point, we were in Uganda. So I always go, if I ever write a biography, an autobiography, it will be called From Africa to Ipswich. Now, why I say it like that is maybe a version of that. What's your smallest place in Kansas, Gretchen?
Oh, there are some small places.
Okay, so if you imagine that, and Renee, I don't know, we did somewhere in New Jersey, the smallest little places, kind of suburban, not rural, suburban, but it'll be from this giant continent, which is like marked me for the first 7 years, colors, sounds, smells, and then I arrive in this tiny little town, and the
Hmm.
world changes.
Hmm.
Is it Ipswich considered a village or like I feel like England is the only place. So my husband grew up in England,
Oh,
so
where from?
Beverly.
Say
So
it
he's
again.
Beverly. So he's Yorkshire. He's North Yorkshire.
Oh, so you understand it. Was he a town or a village?
He was a village.
Got you. So we're in a town,
So
and I know exactly what you mean, and that because
like
that's
England is the only place in the world that is actually like I feel like Americans do not focus
Uh-uh.
on.
the equivalent of the town or the village next door to each other. That is so
Yes.
brilliant. That is so brilliant. It was a small town, and then
Okay.
tra- yeah, travel 2 hours to the big town. There was either Norwich or there's either London, either side. Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that sense
Okay.
of scale, and then a 7 year old arriving going, it's cold, everything changes. So that's a long way to say my mum did what she needed to do for the health of her mental health and her relationship. My dad is a good person I've finally got to know over the last 10 years. Didn't see him for 30 years growing up, me and my sister. But I realized my mum was 21 when she had me, and my dad was 27. And you go, oh no, oh no,
Yeah.
the world was totally and utterly different by then. And the
Hmm.
choices they had to make were not the choices I have to make. And thank God,
Yeah.
because she made those choices. But my mum is always, I'll tell you, we're a spiritual family, and I keep going back to that because I'm only coming back to
Yeah.
it. I would say that I was an agnostic when I was younger. We tried the church for a short moment when we arrived, and my mum said no. And I asked her years later, going, "Oh yeah, we went to the Church of England thing," and then you stopped. She went, "Yeah, because I was invited to a dinner, and then I realised that they were talking about someone left the room, and they started talking about him behind his back. I didn't want to be part of that, but I love my mum for that. She's such a Scorpio in that way. Don't
Yeah.
you be dissing. Do you know what I mean? But we're searchers. My sister is an extraordinary ceramicist, an extraordinary singer, an extraordinary visual artist. And I always say if she had my confidence and my ambition, oh my God, she'd be taken over the world. But she likes to do things when she is ready in her own time. My mum writes poetry. So in a weird way, we found these things for ourselves. That's a long way of saying that. So our souls have always wanted to do them. We find them in different ways. And I found it in, I love collaboration and telling stories with people. Yeah. But it wasn't, this is what I'll say about my mum, which is brilliant. She never said no to anything
that you wanted to
creative
try.
like that. Oh yeah, try that. Yes, try that. Try that. Oh, I think I want to be an actor, Mum. Okay. Are you sure? And I hear it's hard, but okay. Yeah. Yeah. So love her for that.
No, that is amazing. And it always, there always seems to be that thread of support. Yes. When we, as we're talking to creatives and and it might be that doesn't pay the bills, but try it.
But try it, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, that's the one classic I never worried about. Don't worry about it. No, I never worried about it, but that wasn't a perception put into my place going, of course I had to work and of course I had to worry, but it was never about, and I have got friends who were brilliant and they were trained to be doctors or lawyers because please you can do that and do that, but then they found acting. So it's like I tried my parents' story, but I had to do mine. I was like, well, good, you got a good other skills that you can use as well on top of that. I've just got the acting, but I am which I do love, and I'm one of those people who goes, I'm not good with the idea of a plan B. I don't go well with a plan B. It's either all or nothing. So we'll figure it out.
Of course,
still figuring it out. Yeah.
So in types of, you obviously love theater, film, television came, you've definitely played a plethora of parts. Yes. Is there a genre that you prefer?
Oh no. There is no genre. I'll tell you a genre I don't enjoy and I don't think I will do that's horror. I can't. I don't know if there's just something about it. I don't know. I don't know. But to watch some, and I kind of go the Stepford Wives genre of horror, the Get Out genre of horror, which I kind of call more psychological. I did watch Sinners recently. That was the most recent kind of vampire, and I kind of loved it because there was a specific take on it. But I'm old school. I grew up with Vincent Price and Hammer House Horrors and the Queen Dracula or whatever, blah blah blah. And they were the high cap dramas, which always made me laugh. But anything too real, I can't do. So when I say no immediate to any particular genre, I just like playing. I'm the little kid who does plays. And this play we're going to play on TV, we're going to play on film. Who am I playing with? Oh, what's the room like? And sometimes it can be extraordinary. And sometimes you go, well, I played. And not everyone else played. But hey, I had the experience. But that's the way I have to look at it.
And you have an upcoming rom-com, right? You're going to be in Are you going to be in a rom-com? With Bill and Naomi Watts?
That's already come.
Oh, that's already come. Oh, that's my bad.
The Friend.
I haven't watched it yet. For some reason, I thought that was coming out.
God
my bad.
Bless
I missed that.
And I was like, what?
I was like, wait a minute. Okay. That's on me. Sorry about that.
That was fun. That was fun.
I had the pleasure of meeting Bill Murray for a documentary that he did called Cradles of Civilization. I got to do the press for him for like 2 days, and I got to travel around New York. He's a global treasure in my mind.
He's singular, and
I've never met somebody like him.
Mate, never met. And that, do you know what? And I have to say, right now, those are the kind of people I chase to be around. I just feel like people feel very, you know who you are. And of course life has happened. Of course you've got there. You've experienced loads of stuff. But the fact that I got a call via Avi Kaufman was casting it, and via Naomi, who I'd worked with on The Watcher, who was co-producing it, got a phone call saying, we'd love you to be in The Friend, and I'm doing it and producing. I was like, oh, that'd be fantastic. Just to play with you for a couple of days would be great.
Yeah.
And then she said, and you'll be playing Bill Murray's widow. And what? What? film. I was like, oh my God. I went, okay, so have I got any scenes with him? She went, no.
Oh.
She was playing his widow. Fuck. But yes, of course I'll do it. That'll be lovely. And also the other people that had involved, absolutely lovely. And Scott and David, who made the film, really lovely. So the whole point of this film is that it's a Sigrid Nunes book called The Friend, but it's about a relationship with this Great Dane called Apollo.
Yeah, but the dog is love him.
He was amazing.
Was he? He's so cute in the movie.
He was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I understand this when it's like, it must have been like the first time they found Lassie. Do you know what I mean? Or Toto. It's like, you're a star, kid. Bing was amazing.
You seem to have multiple projects going all the time. Do you like that always having different things happening at the same time?
It's really interesting because I really think it's perception. And I realized the last few years I've done a thing and then it comes out the next year, and I've done a thing and it comes out the next year.
Okay.
And then because I'm doing something, then something else that happens as well. If, like, I'm sure everyone feels this one, if I could work more, I'd work more. I have this sometimes perception as this is going to sound harsh, and I don't mean it to sound harsh, but as a black actress of a certain age, I do think my white counterparts who are brilliant get to practice more the art. They get to practice more whatever the story is. So with that in mind, I say that because I finally acknowledged that to myself, that was a big lament. And then I've got to stop the lamenting and go, but what can I do about that? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the sense of, even in the theatre gig that I'm doing now, I was like, oh, the fire it's lit in me to go, I need to do directing of my own. I really love being in theatre space. I really love opening up other actors to their possibilities. And so in that sense, there is stuff coming up. There's a potential. We're still waiting for the theatre. I'm going to be directing, not the potential. I am, as of now, I'm going to be directing the revival 30-year anniversary of the Vagina Monologues with, yes.
Oh,
thank
very
you
cool.
very much. Yes,
that's awesome.
I think so. And we are just literally waiting for a theatre to say yes, because it is Broadway bound. V and Level Forward are producing partners. Just especially in this moment in time, and it's collecting amazing people who are wanting to say who are saying yes to it already. And it's interesting for me, it's the younger ones. I go, I have no idea who the younger ones are, but they're huge as well. I felt awful. I didn't know who Chapel Rowan was until I knew who Chapel Rowan was, and that came through. I got this thing. I was like, oh my God, that's a whole different world. But to have Rosario Dawson, Jane Fonda, Naomi Watts, all tentatively say yes, we'll help you set this up. It's now collecting all the other names to go with it, and of course I can't give all the other names because that's all in process. But Angela Davis, who else? I can't think. But yeah, some lovely people are saying
amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk
That's
about
amazing.
a moment in time. That was such
say.
a movement. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we still need it. And you know this. Do you remember 30 years ago she did it, and we're still in this hellscape. Anyway.
Well, it's so interesting because it's like I'm seeing that like a lot of this generation coming up hasn't even heard of it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all getting reintroduced, and you're like, we have to bring it back so the next generations do hear it and listen to it and see it. And there's just so many projects like that. It's generational.
Yeah, it really is in a deep way. And what was happening with especially with the abortion rights was what kicked V, formerly Eve Ensler, off to go, oh no, we have to do it again. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of new monologues coming along the way. And we sat through reading them just to kind of go, what's dated, what's not. And what was frightening was they weren't dated. Maybe a couple of words here, maybe a couple of words there. That was what was scary. And the war one now, she's got it because it was to do with Bosnia at that time and the way the world is right now. Not a Debbie Downer at all, but one sits in that space of, I am a real believer, and it's really been present to me in the last couple of months. And I don't know when I've heard myself say it. I am one of those people who says, art is here to heal us. Art is here to help us because there's so much pain in the world. There is balance. Again, the duality of being a human being, the light and the dark. And we have to choose where we are in that space. And even you doing this is like, this is light. This is light. You have to honor that you are here for a reason, sharing. I think that's what I'm trying to teach to my daughter, that you have value in every moment, that everyone around you has value, and the giving off of your energy in a way that's going to serve, because you two are serving. You're in service to the greater good and going, how can we get women in entertainment heard and seen and felt? So that's a gift for me to be part of your energy. And so to be part of V's energy with the vagina monologues and going, yes, I remember it coming out. And then to be here 30 years later, to be part of creating a new version of that, that's amazing. But what, not but, and what are the next generations going to do after that? We're all, there is no waste. This is what I know in my old age. Even if you don't like the other person, whoever that blah, blah may be, there is no waste with them being here in the world. Because again, I'll use the analogy I say to my daughter, everyone is here that you meet to teach you about yourself. These are the things I say. These are the things I understand. And I still get angsty and I still get worried and I still get, and then I have to say, do I really believe what I'm saying? And I go, yeah, I do. Because then I have to challenge myself and go, but you chose to be here. You chose to have this experience. So that's me going off track, but it kind of encompasses everything we're talking about, it feels.
Well, I think it's, when you look at the energy you output and where you put your energies and how you relate to other people and, being kind or how, using, I think that there is, doing all of these podcasts and I think doing the summit and talking to so many different women, it's how do you fit within the world and how do you follow what your journey is and what your path is, right? It's how we
Absolutely.
parent, it's helping your child
Absolutely.
on the journey that they're on. It's not them living on your journey, right? And just because we couldn't live our parents' journey, right? So when we look at, and we hear all these stories, and I think what's really difficult within, the entertainment field is, as Gretchen said, you hear so many no's, but how do you stick to who you are and just understanding that it's not about you. A lot of the no's are not you. It's not your ego that needs to be, it's going to hurt, but at the same time, hearing that no might have pivoted you to a yes and talking to people. And, that's something that is definitely, and I think that goes for Hollywood entertainment and beyond in terms of like all of the different, industries we've all touched, and it's so interesting. And I think if there's one thing for the next generation, even from like vagina monologues and is exposure and being curious, because I think curiosity is going to help you on your journey. But how you use that curiosity is going to be really important.
Exactly.
Whether
and
it's
how you
for
receive.
good or bad and how you receive it, and I think a lot of that does come with wisdom of age.
I think
when you just really stop giving a shit.
Oh, mate.
Which is a huge piece of it. But
huge. And I mean, all the people who have stopped giving a shit, because I've still got that 5% of giving a shit, which just gets in the way of stuff. But absolutely, curiosity.
But you notice it though, and I think with age, you notice when you give a shit, right? Like when you're like, oh, why can't I let this go? Or that insecurity pops up, and you're like, I know this is an insecurity. I know this isn't real. How do I squash this? But you still have to still push through that 5%, and you're like pissed off. It's still there.
And you go, I'm still working at this day, and it's going to be
still
on my
working at it.
We're always working, always working.
Always.
And then there's a beauty in that. And then there is actually a beauty in that.
Yeah.
Exactly, as long as I don't. But
beautifully
put. It's
self-awareness, though.
Yeah, beautifully put. Absolutely. And curiosity, absolutely. Yes. I don't like non-curious people who just take things as granted. I don't trust it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking the
questions. And I also think it's also, there's a laziness about not being curious in my mind.
Well,
it's complacency. I don't mean to say it in complacency, not lazy. It's a balance. But the older I'm getting, the more And I think whether it's self-awareness, you start realizing, well, how do I want to live my life? How do I want to be on this planet? What good can I, you put out there? Who do I want to emulate, not just admire?
Yes.
And how do I become someone somebody wants to emulate? And whether that's your children or so forth, in terms of spreading your values.
Absolutely.
But it's as you're starting to look at that, it's the self-awareness that hits you.
And it's
you're aware.
You're honing yourself, but that awareness hones who you choose to be. Hones. So if we're going to go look at like the Bill Murray experience, you kind of go, what's the equivalent of that? Because, and it's very easy for men to have that. But I kind of look in my head and go, oh my God, if I could get Carol Burnett to be part of the Vagina Monologue,
oh my God,
wouldn't that
oh my gosh,
because
we'll be there for.
Can I just
Oh
put it
my
out there to
God.
the universe? Can I just put it out there to the
Done.
universe?
Yeah.
Because there's something about there are people who've just followed their nose, who've just
Yeah.
followed their thing, and
Mm-hmm.
they've succeeded. And I suppose that's what it's all about. Where do you hone yourself? Who you meet? But we also have to go through those moments where we don't like ourselves. We don't
Oh
like,
yeah.
and you go, oh yeah, I don't want to sit in that anymore. And
Yeah, have to
especially, yeah,
change, have to
yeah,
improve, have
Well,
to
yeah.
make ourselves, yeah.
it's and it's interesting because you kind of know, and I think maybe it goes into that self-awareness piece too, but why you're that way. You start
Mm.
recognizing why you're that way or why you reacted that way or
Mm-hmm.
where it
Mm-hmm.
comes
That's a
from. And
ball.
you know that some things might not be dangerous. You might know, in terms of the world, but like, how do you
Yeah,
pivot on that? How do you heal that piece
yeah,
of yourself? And that's part of, I think, being a woman and getting older too, of
absolutely.
being able to recognize that.
Well, it's the 6-year-old in one moment, it's the 14-year-old in one moment, it's the 12-year-old of you
Uh,
acting out in those moments. And I do go
100%.
Mm-hmm.
meeting those little people in
Mm-hmm.
us who got stuck, and the cliches and the that's not cliches, sorry, that's the wrong word. And the understanding that those things helped you at a certain moment to feel safe, but they don't
Yeah.
help you as you're getting older, as you're moving into the world. But we have to, yes. Oh, fabulous. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we've sorted out the world
I
then,
would
have
say we're
we?
solving
We
all
said,
the
let's do
world's
it. We're
problems
done.
today.
We're
I
done.
love it.
We're done. It's like, I think just going back to the Bill Murray, I think what I found so fascinating about Bill when I got to spend my time is just witnessing him. He's curious.
Yes.
He's curious and confident.
Even the way he listens. Do you
Yeah.
know what I
It's,
mean?
it's fascinating. And
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
okay. It was
Yeah.
just so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like it's just, and I don't want to be cliche and saying it's different for men than it is for women, but it is, in
But
terms
it
of
is.
whether
Yeah.
it's like you could get away with it or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but,
And
or we're
also, that's
just,
a
we have a
generational
different,
thing as well. That's a
yeah,
generational thing as
Yeah.
well. And
oh,
I've got to be very
100%.
aware of that as well. But I have met
Yeah,
some
yeah,
young actors, I go, do you know, and but as a woman, I always curious about the other. As a woman, I'm always curious about the other. How does that
yeah,
world of having no breasts and having dick, and I've got a do you know what I mean? I've got a
yeah,
vagina. How does that move you in the world? And that, I'm not talking about this, but literally, how does your physical space
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
make a move through the world, and how do I adjust mine? There was a lovely moment my daughter told me off last year, and I didn't realize I was doing it. We went to a screening of something, one of these lovely invited screenings, and there was a Q&A afterwards. And then she said afterwards, Mama, can you not do that? I went, what? She says, you kind of weirdly dip yourself and make yourself smaller when you're introducing yourself to certain people. I was like, because I recognized it and I hadn't recognized it. And I realized what I was doing was I was like, I want you to feel comfortable with my presence.
yeah,
And my daughter clocking that just totally, I was firstly really happy that she did. Then I had to sit with myself for a moment and go, well, I've wanted her to do that. I've grown her to do that. And she's clocked it in me. And I didn't realize I was doing that because I thought I was doing it to make someone, and that's the point. I was doing it to make other people feel comfortable. But it was so unconscious, and it hit me that I've been doing that for such a long time. And what was interesting post that moment to be in space and go, no, I'm 5'7", and I can take up space. I
Mm.
can take up space,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah,
that's in my bloody mid 50s. I'm learning that. I
And
find
making
that
you think
fascinating.
about
yeah,
it now every time now that you're introducing yourself or
Yes.
or entering a room of
What does my
you
body
prob
do?
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
What does my body do? And it's shifted since then. And
Mm-hmm.
a couple of times going, oh no, 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 keep up, keep up. Why
Mm-hmm.
I'm automatically going in to say hello. And it's an odd little dip that I do. And it's not like a curtsy dip, but it's almost like a shoulder lean in to kind of go,
Mm.
hi, I'm just here. But actually as opposed to standing. And it was, yeah, it's those things we watch about ourselves, if that makes sense.
That's interesting.
yeah,
Noma, this has been the most fascinating conversation.
absolutely.
What a Wednesday morning
The
for all
gremlin.
of us.
Thank you.
I
The
love it.
gremlin
I love
morning.
it so much. Tell us, it doesn't sound like you have a lot of free time, but with all of the plays that you've mentioned, the TV, movies, what are you watching or reading or listening to that you're loving right now? We love to share that with our audience.
Oh my goodness. Okay, reading. I just got The Graydon Carter book about the years that
I
he
Oh,
just
was at
bought it.
Manifest. I've used well, literally, I bought it,
I haven't.
and I've just opened it for the market, going, okay, I've got to read that on. Do you know what I'm
That's
loving?
on
It's
my
just
weekend. That's on my July 4th weekend reads.
oh, love that. You're better than me, and I'm going to take that time. I'm very excited about that. And also, there's one about which I got a while ago, but I keep going. Where did I put it? It was about Elaine May. That I've
yes, I
got to,
heard
yeah,
that's fantastic.
yes. And I'm like, shit, I've got to that. So those I'm looking forward to. So that's books to read. TV. I've been catching up on Murderbot, and I have to say. It's really weird and wild watching it as it goes out weekly and then having a sense of what people think. And I'm
Yeah.
going to be one of those people who's going to watch the whole, once July the 11th comes, I'm going to watch it all together because that's going to be interesting to see. So that's been fun. But doing theatre, not much. I'm a podcaster. I love astrology podcasts. I love Dinner with Me with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I love
Yeah.
Mark Maron. I love, and I'm really sad he's finishing, but it also makes sense that he's finishing. Do you know what I mean? His time,
Yeah, it's a
he
long one.
understands his time. Yeah. What else do I love? The
What
Julia Louis
what
Dreyfus.
astrology podcast do you listen to? Out of curiosity.
Oh, I love that you did ask me that because I thought I'd just drop in without making it big.
No, no, no. I'm like a huge person who like loves energy. Like my mom,
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
she loves like she was a shaman. Like my mom was all
Oh,
into that. So
fabulous. You see, so that's the one I grew up in as well, Renee, because that's ultimately
yeah.
ultimately my mum's quite spiritual in that way we grew up with that. So Ghost of a Podcast by Jennifer Lanyata, which I really, really like.
Okay.
I've just heard recently she breaks it down brilliantly, and in her awareness is also very political about what's happening in this moment. But also she does this thing, so weekly one, and then she does in the midweek she talks to one person about their if they want to talk about their thing. And she really makes me believe the whole thing is, yeah, astrology is a collection of data of at least 2,000 years. I
Yeah.
love that. Charlie Nichols is great. So those are the ones I listen to. I love human design. Human design as a modality. Do you know of human design?
I
Um,
don't.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and you're going to find out about human design. But
Done.
it's a wonderful it's astrology chakra system, the 64 hexagram from the I Ching, and
Okay.
This is Renee's world. I see
oh
her
This is my
great,
face.
world.
Yeah, she
I'm like
yeah,
taking.
loves
I'm
this.
creating
great,
notes in
Yeah.
my
yeah.
phone right now. I'm like writing all
No,
these down. So
please
let's do
do,
it.
and I'm going to give it to you because I think a really good one to start off with is Jenna Zoe's one, called My Human Design Online, but her podcast is called Align, and her app is called Align. She's so when people are good at that, and I'd say especially for young people. It's about energetics. How do you move in the world? How do you move in the world? And we're all
Yeah.
got different ways of moving in the world. So trust yours, trust yours, trust yours. So
Oh my
I'll
God,
leave
Noma,
that
can
there.
we have coffee? Can we have coffee in New York?
New Yorkers, I would love that, Renee. I would love
Oh my
that.
gosh.
Yes,
Oh
but
my
you
gosh.
can't. Exactly.
I'll have our team reach out to your team and
No,
we'll get a coffee
seriously.
because I
And
feel like,
Rosie's there listening to it. So Rosie, absolutely, very happy
oh my
to.
God, this is like
Yeah,
my dream.
Yes,
I
this
love that you
is.
understand. So affirmed by Gretchen, we're going to be doing great. We're going to heal the world with all these things.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
We've
We're
and
gonna make
I
the vagina monologues happen. We're gonna do it all.
we're
Let's get
gonna
it done.
keep it all
Carol
going in a
Burnett's gonna
pot.
come out tap dancing. It's
Ah,
like it's gonna happen.
it's going to
Carol
happen.
Burnett, the
Can
dream.
you imagine? Can you imagine? It'd be absolutely
Oh my
glorious.
God.
Yeah. Thank you so
Oh my
much.
gosh, thank
Brilliant.
you, Noma. What a
Noma,
Jade. I'm
it's
Yeah.
so jealous of
lovely.
your coffee. I might have to come in. I'll
Go
fly
do
in
it.
for
Yes,
New
Done
York
and
please.
coffee.
done.
And
Done and
so it is.
done.
And so it is. Absolutely.
Well,
Blessings to you. Thank you so
thank
much.
you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you for listening to In Her Words. We hope you'll join us at womenandentertainment.com and go to our Substack for extended interviews and behind the scenes access.